whatever. And so she followed up with me from July until November when I decided to sign up. So 4 months of her following up with me to get me on her team. And she said, when you make your list when you first start, like I was the top person on her list. So had she not continued to follow up, I probably wouldn't be doing Plexus. And if I was, I wouldn't be on her team. So I signed up in November of 2013. And I really had a very small mindset to what the possibility with this business could be, because I had been in another MLM about 10 years ago now, maybe longer than that, and just for a short period of time, and I just saw how it worked, and I just thought only a select few ever get successful in these businesses. So my initial goal was, if I could be making $500 by the end of my entire first year with Plexus, then I would just feel like I had hit the jackpot and that there was something to this. And so, like most of us, very quickly I had to realize and evaluate my goals and think a little bigger and dream a little bigger. So it took me 2.5 months to go silver. So all you people that are just starting, or if you've been around for a while and you haven't gone silver, and you're thinking, if just because I didn't go silver right out the gate doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything with this. So let me be a testament that it took me 2.5 months to go silver, and I'm a diamond today. So that does not matter. So I worked full time and at a very stressful, like high intense job. Like I pretty much ran the company. And by my first full year, I had reached Emerald. So I went Emerald on my 1-year anniversary month. And so I had way surpassed my $500 goal. And at that time, 2 months later, in January of 2015, I went Sapphire. And about 3 days after I went Sapphire, my husband was in a really bad car accident. And to be honest, we didn't know if he was going to make it. And because I had Plexus in my life, I did not have to go back to my full-time job. I was able to stay with him. He was in the hospital for 47 days, and he actually went to the doctor today. So, like, we're almost a year and a half in, and we're still fighting battles. And he is, like, seriously, like, this close to having his final wound, like, healed once and for all, I feel like. And so at the time, I had, when I was Sapphire, Rebecca would always say to me, "Are you going to quit your job when you go diamond?" And I would say, I don't know. Like, I just felt like an obligation, even though the people that I worked for were very ugly to me. I'm just a very loyal person. And so I guess it was about day 38 in the hospital. I had always told Rebecca, like, I want a big why, like a passion why, and it was probably day 38 in the hospital. She texted me and she's like, "I think you got your why, like, it's time to quit your job." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, right? Thanks, Kyle." And so we came home from the hospital. I actually went back to work for about 2 days, and all of the anxiety, all of the stress, like everything that I was feeling, I didn't even know I was feeling when I was working full time, like all that came back on me, like within 2 days of me being back. And so I just knew that it was the right thing for my husband and for my life to quit my full-time job. So I quit my full-time job on April 21st of last year, and I went diamond on April 27th. So
wow.
To say that Plexus has been a huge blessing to us, and I feel like a total godsend, would be a major understatement. I never knew why I signed up for Plexus. Like, I was just sitting at my desk one day and decided to do it for $34.95. Like, why not? And like when his accident happened and I was able to quit my job, because if we had not had Plexus, I would have not quit my job. It made sense that God put Plexus in my life in 2013 because he knew I would need it in 2015. And so it just kind of all like came full circle, and like my big like reasoning for doing it came out. And so since then, I work full time from home. I love that. I love being able to work from my phone, set my own schedule. If we're out of the state or doing something with our family, I can still run my business. And Kyle, I signed him up when I went senior Ruby. So I guess that would have been in July of 2014. And he went emerald in February, and fingers crossed he should go sapphire this month. And so it's just crazy what this has come to be with us. And I always tell people, like, we're 100% proof that doesn't matter where you live. We live in a town of 300 people. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter your age, your sex, your race. Like, that's what I love about Plexus, is there's people all across the board that are doing this and having success with it. So that's just kind of our story in a quick, long nutshell, I guess, with maybe more information than what I should have told. But I really just like to put that out there and to say, you know, maybe you don't know why you even signed up with Plexus, but don't let that hold you back. Like, it will eventually come to light. It was 17 or 16 months in before it came to light for me, but I knew that there was a reason that I was doing it. And so it comes to people at different times. So for you new people that are just signed up, I know a lot of you guys probably aren't on my team page because there just gets to be so many team pages that it's just best to keep them, like, unless you ask to be added, like Megan and them, they do such a good job at running y'all's team that if they see something that they like on my team page, they can just share it with you guys. But my biggest preach to my people is consistency. And so that's what Rebecca always pokes fun at me about preaching consistency. But I believe that is what, like, got me to diamond. It's what's gotten so many of my team members to where they were. And I'm just a consistent person, like in life, in Plexus, in whatever. And so I feel like consistency is always going to get you through everything. So my first thing is, first and foremost, you need to get started right. And that means being consistent, and it means being consistent in several areas. The first area is going to be using your products and believing in them, okay? I tell people all the time, if you're just trying to sell somebody something and you don't have the passion and you don't have belief and you don't feel that these products can change people's lives, they see right through that. They can hear it in the tone of your voice. They can see it in the passion coming through your eyes. And even in the text how you write things on Facebook, like, it comes across. So for you to have belief in them, and it might not be some huge long story, but even if, like, for me, I was drinking 7 to 8 large Cokes a day, like, that's my big claim to fame with Plexus, like what it's done for me. That, you know, that gives me passion, and that helps me push on. And then as you get customers, that's going to give you passion too. But you need to be taking the products and you need to be consistent on them, because I tell people all the time, the hardest part of our products is being consistent with them. Because if you're not consistent with them and you don't take them every day, they're not going to work for you. The next thing to be consistent on is posting on Facebook. I would venture to say that I've probably built 98, maybe 99% of my business on Facebook alone, okay? I'm 30 months in. I'm still building my business on Facebook. I still reach out to people every day on Facebook. I still post. I still sign up people. And some of these people are people that have watched me for the last 30 months, and they're finally coming on board. And then other people are new people. But posting on Facebook is huge, you guys. It's free. So there's no sense in not doing it. And I always tell people, don't wait till you have your big old why or your big story to share. When I first started, I'll admit, I was not taking the products at all because I just thought that they were for weight loss. And at the time, I didn't need to lose any weight. And so about a month in, I started learning more. And so I started taking the products, but I posted from day one. Okay. So these are I like to tell my people to break up your post in several different ways. So first, you want to break it into talking about the products. And it's very easy for us to get hung up on the Slim, the probiotics, the X Factor, the Triplex, because those are the 4 that everybody really talks about and really presses. But you've got to think that you might have somebody out there that is looking for pain relief from the Ease line, somebody that's looking for a good body cream, you know, somebody that's looking for a children's vitamin. You never know, like, what your audience is looking for. And so if you're only posting about the same products all the time, you're missing out on this huge other market and audience that you could be reaching out to. So, and that doesn't mean don't post all 15 products every week. But I know one thing I did in December, and I saw somebody post it today, and I'm going to do it with my team starting next week, but it's like a 15 days of Plexus. And so every day you kind of highlight one product. And so you would highlight the product that morning and kind of tell what the product is. And then that afternoon, if it's a product you take, then you can do a personal testimony and share like why you love it, what it's done for you, etc. And so that way you're kind of easily like introducing these products to people. And then of course you're still going to go back to post general stuff, but don't get hung up on just the first few products that you like love and take every day. The next thing is, and this is a little touchy subject right now because we're going through all the compliance changes with testimonies, but mixing it up with your testimonies and your before and afters. So of course we all know with testimonies or before and afters, they have to be compliant now, and the before and afters you have to send into compliance for approval. But we're working, some of us diamonds are working on some things to put out there to help you guys know what words are compliant, that you can say and kind of get the point across to people. And it's like Tim and Michelle Thomas had said yesterday, they're like, use your imagination. Like, we kind of have to make ourselves be kids again and think outside the box, use our imagination, and that will get you able to share your testimonies or testimonies of people on your team. General health articles, so make sure you're posting about those. Make sure you're posting about the biz opportunity. And I think that always bring up Megan.
On this thing going with Beth Spear.
Sorry. I always bring up Megan and Tara when I do these talks with people, because I think that they do such a great job posting, but specifically about what the business opportunity has done for them without it being like a braggy or showy way. So they totally make it in a humble way, and I know that's just because that's how they are in general, but it doesn't have to be, you know, talking about how much money you made or anything. Like Megan posted the other day that she was able to take off on a Friday and like spend the day with her daughter. Like, that's a huge part of the business. You know, Tara posting about, I think she's posted several videos on like just how she had prayed for something. Megan posting about being able to like change her work shift and have Wednesday night like dinner time with her family. Like, those are the testimonies that get people and connect with people. And so it doesn't always have to be about how much money you're making. Like, change the business opportunity into something that like connects with people and makes them see, okay, like, that's why she was doing it. You know what? I would love to have more time with my family. If this could provide that so I didn't have to have my second job or work the night shift anymore, like, I should look into it. So make sure you're posting about the business opportunity. And then I just feel like being motivational and inspiring like draws people to you. So nobody wants to be on somebody's team or be a customer for somebody that is Debbie Downer or always griping about something or complaining. And because the deal is, when they don't want to have to think, if something goes wrong with these products or I need help with my business or something's happening, I'm going to have to go to them and they're going to have to help me, and then I'm not going to get any support. So they want to be with somebody or ordering from somebody that's going to be able to uplift them and motivate them in their little time. So I'm not saying be fake. I'm just motivational. Like, I like motivational quotes and I like inspirational quotes, and so that was just kind of natural to me. And so just kind of like being motivated.
Okay, we're not doing math now. It's 9:23.
Well, I'm just saying I need help with too.
I can't tell who that is. Somebody is. Okay, see if that was it.
Okay, so just be uplifting to people and encouraging, because that's going to go a long ways with getting people drawn into you and wanting to be a part of your team. And the next thing is learning as much as you can with the time that you have. So I tell people, if you have 15 minutes a day to work the business, or if you have 3 hours, fabulous. But you can still work this business in 15 minutes. So I worked a full-time job. I would listen to calls on my hour drive to work. Instead of going shopping or browsing on my lunch break, that's when I would sit at my desk and respond to my team, respond to my customers, send out prospect messages, whatever. And then on the way home, I would listen to a team call or be on the phone with people, and then in the evenings. And so if you can just train yourself to be productive and do productive things with the time that you have, you can do this. So listen to team calls, product calls so you know about the products, and the weekly opportunity calls. And I know our big team, like Jen and Celeste, do those each week, and I post them on my team page. They're on a recording, so those are perfect to listen to. They're usually like 15 to 20 minutes long, and you can listen to those while you're folding clothes. It's amazing what you can retain, and you don't even realize it. Just listening to something while you're doing something else, even cooking supper. Getting familiar with your back office, and then getting on the team pages. And the team pages are such a huge knowledge base, and I just love those. My favorite feature is the search feature, because I feel like if you ever have anything, like you have a question about the comp plan, or you have a question about compliance, or you have a question about somebody that's got autism or ADHD, like you can run a search and you're going to pull up all these hits. And so really feel like the team pages are huge for learning, figuring out yourself, and just support. So make sure that you're plugged into at least one of those. You also need to make goals and write them down where you're going to see them, okay? And make them attainable. So that doesn't mean not to dream big, but some people start out right at the gate and their immediate goal is, well, I want to be a diamond. Well, obviously, everybody that signs up wants to be a diamond, but you've got these steps in between that you need to get to. So I tell people to make your weekly goals, your monthly goals, and then your long-term goals, and then work back to each one and see what it's going to take to have you get there. And I always like to goal set with my level ones that I sign up. So I get them on the phone within the first week, and then we talk about like what their goals are. Like, did you sign up to work the business? Did you sign up just to get your products covered? Did you sign up as a wholesale ambassador? Like, what is it? That way I kind of know how to help them set their goals, and also how to push them, okay? Follow up with your customers. I cannot stress this enough. I feel like a ton of my super successful level 1 ambassadors were my customers first, okay? Some of them were customers for as long as 6 months, and some of them were customers like for only a month and then decided to jump into the business. And so make sure you're following up. You can kind of gauge with how people want to be followed up. Like, you might have somebody that they want you to follow up every week. And then you might have somebody that once a month is kind of pushing it. And so you kind of just have to read people, but make sure you're following up. You don't want anybody to sign up with you or order from you and then feel like you just left them out there, okay? I hate when I hear about that happening to people, because it's not fair to them, because it doesn't give them a fair shot.
Kristy, can I ask you something about that?
Uh-huh.
So with your customers, just so you know, because a lot of people on this call have a lot of customers, how did you go about talking to them about the wholesale/business option? You know, the people that ended up switching over and being huge business people for you, level 1s. How did you present that to them? Did you give them hints along the way? Did you, how did you start that with them?
I honestly never did, because I need to be more bold like that. But they had success with the products, and most of them had followed me for a long time, even before the products. So they knew about the business as well. And so I think it just took them making sure the products work and falling in love with the products. And a couple of them's husbands were like, you need to message Kristy, like, you're taking these products and loving them. Like, I think that she really has got something going on. And so I know that Rosalind Payne, she's a diamond from Texas. She says if people have been on the products for a while, like even less than, 3 months or whatever, she knows they love the products. She'll just reach out to them and say, hey, I know you love these products. You do realize that if you sign up the ambassador route, that you could get them at wholesale cost. And then if you want to build a business, perfect. But if not, you don't have to. And she said she just does a simple thing like that. So I think it's just knowing the people and like what would reach out to them. And even like you could go at it as, hey, I know you love these products. You've been on them for 6 months. So this is how much is coming out of your checkbook every month. Did you realize that if you sign up as an ambassador and found 3 people that you knew liked the products, that you could pretty much have your products paid for? Because a lot of people don't realize it's that simple.
Right.
To get your products covered. So that's,
okay.
I mean.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's part of it too, is like we had a team call last week about just keeping things simple. I think when you keep it simple to them, they want to sign up or they want to be a part of it because they don't think it's something that's going to take up every second of every day for them to do. Like,
exactly.
I think that's so important to when you do talk to those customers to just make it sound like something that's very simple and easy for them.
Yes. And I tell people all the time, like, I talked to Julie Tritt-Adams the other day and I was giving her some things that I was doing with my team. And I said, my I guess procedure or like my duplication method is not rocket science. It's just simple, basic steps, like repeated over and over. So I definitely 100% back you on simple is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's everybody can do simple. If you start making it something that it's not, it feels like it's not doable.
And it's not duplicatable. They don't think they can do it.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry.
No, you're fine. The next thing is following up with your ambassadors. So make sure the minute they sign up, you're adding them to the team pages, that they have the tools and information that they need, which now we have this amazing welcome kit. So this is pretty much like gold to these people. And this is, I mean, all these tools in here are so fabulous that pretty much, even if you never help them, they could probably succeed with this. But it's still, like I tell people, when you sign up one person, you've become a leader, whether you wanted to be one or not. And so it is your duty. Like they chose you to sign up out of hundreds of thousands of ambassadors. So you at least owe it to them to give them a fair chance at being successful with this and following up with them. Like I said, be there for them and just don't leave them hanging, and then train them to duplicate your ways. Getting to the top, being successful with Plexus is not hard. It's simple duplication and multiplication. That is it. And if I'm sure Megan and hit on the power of 3 all the time, but it really is amazing. Like if everybody went off of that power of 3 and really like modeled that, it's crazy amazing how successful and how quickly that your team can grow if you're just training everybody that you sign up to add 3 people and then having them do the same. Now, the next thing is don't quit. So I feel like so many times people give up too quick, okay? We were talking the other day and somebody said, I feel like if people aren't a millionaire like their first month, they're like, oh, I'm out. And, but it's so true, you know? And so everybody's going to go at their own pace. Like I said, it took me 2.5 months just to go silver. Sarah Marble, who I'm sure that you all know about, she's been in the business for 5 years. It took her 8 months to go silver, you guys. 8 months. And 2 of those people was her mom and her husband that she didn't even know she signed them up. And so let that be an inspiration to you that if she'd have quit in 8 months because she didn't go silver, she'd not be. I mean, she is a household name, not just in Plexus, but in the network marketing industry alone. And so that's just always inspiring to me to hear that. It took Jen Hawkins 7 months just to go gold, and she's one of the top, earners of Plexus now. And then trust the process. Your timing is going to be different than everybody else's. The reason that you signed up is different from anybody else's. And so remember that. Have it posted where you can see it. If it needs to be in your car, if it needs to be on your bathroom mirror. And so that way, when you are having those lull moments or you're having those doubts or you're getting frustrated, that you can look at that and say, okay, well, me being able to cut back a day or 2 at work is not going to happen if I quit this, So I feel like the only way that you can not be successful in Plexus is if you just quit on yourself. I 100% believe that those who are consistent and fight through the tough times are going to be the ones that are successful in network marketing. It's not always sunshine and roses, even as a diamond. And I've definitely had my little moments over the last 30 months. But I promise you that it's the lull times and the frustrating times have been well worth the freedom, financial freedom, and really just the time freedom that I've gained from Plexus. And so the other thing is to always know that people are watching. And so many people get hung up when you first start and you first start posting on Facebook that you're not getting comments, you're not getting likes. And I tell people, nobody likes my stuff except Plexus people. Women especially, like, we don't want anybody to know that we're interested in losing weight, okay? We just want everybody to think that we woke up one day and lost 20 pounds and we look good. And so don't expect a woman especially to comment on your Facebook page when you're posting about it and say, oh my gosh, I'm so interested. I've never had somebody comment on my stuff. If they're interested, they message me because they don't, that it's usually a secret. And so if it's not happening right away, don't get frustrated and feel like it's never going to happen. Every post you make, you're planting a seed, okay? Somebody is looking at it. Somebody is thinking about it. And it's making them think more and more and more. Elizabeth James posted a statistic today, and I wish I could remember the exact stat, but it was something like, I think 40% of people don't follow through with anything. This is like in network marketing or in life or anything until between the 5th and the 12th follow-up, okay? And so she had posted, that statistic and talked about it and asked people to comment like, okay, how many months did you watch somebody or how many times did you have to be followed up? And it was amazing. I mean, I knew how long that Rebecca followed up with me, but to see all these other people say, oh, I watched so-and-so secretly for 10 months or, so I had to follow up with Casey for 3 or 4 months before she would sign up. I've had people literally, I had somebody last month, 29th month, and they wrote me and said, okay, I've been watching you for 29 months and I'm finally convinced. 29 months, okay? And so it takes everybody different times. Most of those people are going to come back and kick themselves in the butt for watching you for so long, but just know that with every post you make, every time you talk about Plexus, every shirt you wear, whatever it may be, you are planting a seed, and that is eventually going to harvest, and your business is going to grow, whether it be a customer or an ambassador. So always keep that in your mind, because I feel like that is kind of the most frustrating thing I hear from new people is they get discouraged because they're not getting likes or comments or something happening immediately. So
right. I think that that's so true because, when you think about Facebook and all of our posts that we have continued to, all of us make that have been doing this, Shonda, Tara, myself, everybody, Becca, that's been around forever. We started out with nobody liking our posts, and a lot of our posts are Plexus people that like them. But you can look through those posts and find the few people that are consistently, liking your post, and that's how you can kind of tell who's watching you. But also, when you said keep your posts varied, post about different things. I watched Morgan for 4 months talk about all the weight she had lost. Well, I didn't need to lose weight, so I didn't think Plexus was for me, kind of the same thing as you. And one day she finally made a post about that. It was about the probiotic and sleep. And I was on it. What is this stuff? I've got to know about it. But, it took that for me to even realize that it was something for me. So I think that was a really, really good thing to make sure telling people that keep your post varied. So
I wanted to say one thing too. Kristy. So pretty much you touched on everything. It was perfect. But also talk about how a lot of us that have been around longer, people are going to fall off too. So when you have customers and you have ambassadors that quit, it's okay. It's not about you. It's nothing personal as long as you followed up with them and, gave them the tools to start with, correct? And a lot of times it's a boomerang, and they'll come back around and they'll they'll do it again when the time is right. But a lot of people just get ate up about that because, oh, well, they quit, so this isn't for me.
Don't let those people that quit discourage you, because like I said, everybody signs up for a different reason. And one thing that I really had to get through my head, because I'm just the type of person that I want everybody to want it like I do, and I want everybody to be successful like me. And so when I had people signing up and at the beginning and then they weren't working it, or either some of them would quit, I really just got so upset about it. And I was like, I just wanted to like grab their neck and shake them and be like, do you not see what you're passing up, And I finally just had to come to the realization that not everybody is going to sign up for the same reason that I signed up. And so like Tara said, you're going to have people that fall off because maybe they only signed up and they wanted the products, and maybe they didn't love the products or just whatever. And then you're going to have some people that they really say they want to work it. And those sometimes are the people that you're like, oh, they are going to be great. And sometimes they're the biggest disappointment. Yeah. And you can't hurt you either. And so you just have to keep on pushing and know that, like Tara said, a lot of those people will come back around. I had a girl, she signed up like a year and a half ago. And she went inactive pretty fast. She was having a baby, and so that was fine. But she would order randomly, like here and there. And just this, I guess a couple months ago, she started posting again on Facebook. And so I was kind of watching her, because I'm the type of person, like, I'm going to help you 100% right away. But I'm not going to I'm not going to hold your hand, and I'm not going to force you to do it. And so if I feel like I'm kind of pushing you and it's not what you want, like, I'm going to back away. And so I was watching her to see if, okay, I think I'm going to reach out to her again and try and like get her to work the business. And so she was so excited when I did. She's like, yeah, she's like, I finally got consistent with the products and decided I wanted to do this. And so she has gone silver, and I'm hosting her first sipping seat for her later this month. And so, I mean, it took a year and a half, and she was inactive for most of it. And so, like Tara said, you're going to have to boomerang people, so don't let that upset you either. And that's another reason that I tell people, like, you always need to be getting fresh blood on your Facebook page, or new friends, but I like to call it fresh blood. And you can do that by friending random people, joining Facebook groups, and getting to know people in there and adding them as friends, because they're going to see your Plexus stuff. Because you always need to be adding people every month, because you never know when people are going to fall off. So you pretty much kind of have to be replacing those, if that makes sense. So like I said, this is my 30th month, and I sponsor every month, and I'm still looking for prospects. And I haven't re-entered, so that's doing it. I'm just doing it because I want to have a steady business and know that even if I have people that fall off, I still have somebody else that's out there that's going to work it for them.
Awesome.
Kind of back to what you said, Tara, about people falling off. I remember at Sonia's training, Kristy, that you were asking me about, she said, this really helped me. She said, we aren't responsible for somebody's success or failure with this business. But what we are responsible for is making sure we get them started off on the right foot. So as long as we, are able to give them the information that they need to get going, and we get them started, if they fall off and they decide this isn't for them, that's not our responsibility. So for everybody watching that, maybe that's something you're struggling with, you're feeling guilty that somebody fell off, or, you're having attrition, which is, where people go inactive. As long as you're starting those people off and they have the tools, that's all you can do, is give them the tools and make sure that they know you're there for them. Because if you're there for them, they'll come back. I have, I think, 2 people on this call right now that's exactly what happened. They had the tools and it just wasn't for them right now or right then. And they came back because they knew they were able to build a business with this company. It just wasn't their time. So
right.
I think
personal.
It wasn't personal. And you just have to let those people go with grace. I think that's a huge thing, is letting them go in a graceful way, in a loving way, so that they know you're a soft place to land if they want to come back. So I think for all of you that are watching, if that's something that's hard for you, that would be my tip. So.
And then one other thing, and then I'll be done. But Kristy, like how you said, some people sign up and they're like, oh yeah, like this is going to be my rock star. And you're so excited about it. And I mean, it happens all the time. And then they realize, this isn't for me. But I heard this, I don't know where, and I just love it. And it's like, watch people's feet, not their mouth. A lot of people are saying, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. I'm all in, da-da-da-da-da. But you watch their feet and they're not doing the stuff that they need to do, the daily activities. So pay attention to people's walk, not their talk. Don't you agree, Kristy? As far as your runners go and who you pour into.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yes. And don't get sucked down. I mean, I feel like a lot of times you can get sucked down with somebody that's using a lot of your time. And especially if you have a job, then your time is limited. Like by somebody that's needy, but then they're not like putting out in return, if that
right.
makes sense. And so I tell people, network marketing is relationship marketing. And so you kind of have to figure out each person and what kind of makes them tick. That's why I like to do that phone call initially, so you know their goals, and then you figure out what makes them tick, and then kind of like how they're going to need you to guide them. Like I will say, like I'm
Kristy, you're breaking up really bad. I don't think we can hear you on our end.
Okay, let me move again.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a self-starter, and so when I started, I wanted to find self-starters. So I sought those people out. And a lot of times those are going to be the people that are like busy. But busy people know what it takes to make it in this business. And so another thing is don't prejudge and say, well, they wouldn't be interested because they're successful with their other job or they're like too busy. So
doesn't your husband own a couple of Sonics?
Yeah, we own 4 Sonics. And actually at my other full-time job before I quit, I owned part of that company as well. And so
yeah. You guys were very successful. Timmy and Jake were very successful. And it goes on and on and on. So that's a great
point. Success means they were very busy. So they had to be able to figure out how to do this with being very busy. So I think that that's so encouraging to a lot of people on this call, because a lot of the people on this call have jobs and kids, and they're very busy. So I love that you were able to. How many months did you do this, Kristy, with working?
15 months, and then I didn't officially quit until month 17, the month I went diamond, but those 2 months in between we were in the hospital. So you can pretty much count that as work, because I was pretty much my husband's nurse, even though I knew nothing about that.
Right. And like that, a lot of the successful people like you and Kyle and so many on this call, even you guys don't get to experience time freedom when you're working in an office from sun up to sundown, and with Plexus, it offers you the time freedom that, a corporate job doesn't necessarily. So.
Oh, 100%.
I think everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristy, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
So for all of these new people, what would you say when you started were like a couple of things that you did that you think really helped your business when you started getting your business moving?
Okay.
Like a couple things.
One for sure is sending out cold messages.
Ugh.
And I know that is so scary to people, but I've got a senior Ruby that I sent a cold message to, and a couple like rubies and golds. And then I have other people that I sent them to, and they looked at them and never read them, or looked at them and then 8 months later decided to sign up. And so that's, again, like that's planting a seed. And I feel like if you can make them personal and tie them into like what is going to connect with that person. So like when I wrote Dana Kiopel on my team, she's super busy. She is a teacher. Her husband's a coach, a football coach. She has 2 little kids. She like buys and sells like kids clothes online, and she did a couple other things. Like, she's so busy. I tell her all the time, she's always got 50 things going. But I wrote her because I knew that she had a big following on Facebook because of her kids' clothes. I knew that she pretty much, if she does something, she is going all in. I knew that a lot of people respected her, and I knew that she could benefit from the financial part because how she likes to buy stuff on a teacher and a coach's salary, I know she's over their budget all the time. And so I just wrote her and was honest, and I said, hey, she's a 00 or tinier than that, so I knew she didn't need the weight loss, but I said, hey, this is totally out of the blue. I'm not approaching you for weight loss at all, but I'm approaching you about the business because I know you could kill it, and these are the reasons why. And so I just named those 4 things really quick, and then I kind of told a little bit about the business, like my testimony, what it had done for me, and then said, would love to send you some more information, would you be interested? So I tell people, when you're sending these cold messages, we're our own worst critics, and so if you can breathe belief into people before you mention the business part, it's going to it's a mindset thing. Okay. And so you kind of always have to you have to tell people what they don't see, because we see things in people that they don't see in themselves. And so if you can kind of breathe belief into them and get them thinking that, okay, I could do this, then before you even talk about it, then I think that's a huge key on doing a cold message. And, these don't have to be, they definitely don't need to be a novel, because nobody needs to feel like they're like a blanket email that you're just copying and pasting, but make them as personal as you can and as brief as you can, while at the same time, giving them enough information to be interested, kind of your short testimony, and then telling them why that they would succeed at this. Does that make sense?
Yes. So somebody asked what a cold message was. It's exactly what she just said. It's when you reach out to somebody that hasn't come to you before about Plexus, and you tell them why you think they would benefit from the business or the products. You're reaching out to them and contacting them, and keep it personal first. She just gave you an example of exactly what she would say to somebody. And then Deborah said, she did it and hasn't gotten any responses. Well, Kristy just said the same thing, but at least you planted a seed. Now that person's eyes are open. She's going to be watching your posts. She's more in tune to you. And it takes them a while to come around.
Respond, and you can follow up with something else to them. Shonda's very good at this, following up with somebody that you cold message, and just giving them a different, sometimes she'll send them a diamond documentary that reminds her of them, or just something, to tie their life into what Plexus could be.
And continue connecting with that person. Don't just send them a message and then just kind of hide behind the screen. Comment on their posts, send them another private message, not about Plexus. Just, let them know you're really connecting, and it's not just about Plexus. Right.
Shonda. Yeah. Did you hear me? We're talking about cold messaging, and I was just saying that, you're really good at that, reaching out to people that you want on your team specifically. So what things do you make sure to send? I said sometimes you'll send a diamond documentary, or I didn't know if you heard me because you were getting a drink, but
I heard you. I guess anytime, because, you have your lists that you've made, the people that you want on your team. Or even people that might not be on your list. If I see something and it makes me think of that person, I impulsively have to send it to them at that time and tell them why, because it's for good reason.
Right.
But, so that way they can kind of see what I see in them.
Yeah. You're being genuine in the moment. It's genuine. Yeah.
Okay, Kristy. So cold messaging.
Yes. And somebody asked, I saw it pop up, who do you send a cold message to? So Shonda or Megan said, you send them to people that are on your list of people that you made that you want to either approach about the business or the products. And then, Shonda said, just random, you might see a random, something random come across your screen. And it might be somebody that, they're just talking about how they hate their job, or they just are struggling or whatever. And they might have never been on your radar before, but you can send them a cold message. And so I don't feel like a cold message is limited to anybody. That's how Rebecca got me, was with the cold message.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is the cold messages, and then I'm big on posting on Facebook. And I know I already hit on that, but really if I had to do this from having parties or seeing people face to face, I would have not been successful with it, because I'm a huge, you can't tell from my Facebook, but I'm very introverted, okay? And I hate public speaking. I've really had to get out of my comfort zone, and that's expanded since starting Plexus. But I really feel like taking advantage of your Facebook market and the free time, like it's free. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to drive. Like it's on your phone. I feel like that's huge. And so one thing I will talk about real quick with Facebook though is if you don't know it, like Facebook is all like how you see people and how people see your post is all on an algorithm. So if you are not somebody that likes people's posts or comments on their posts, then you're not showing up in their newsfeed, okay? So you have to be interactive with people, which I've always been a serial liker and commenter, and I know Timmy was way before Plexus too. That's just how we, like, that's our personalities or whatever. But if you have to make yourself start getting in the habit, then make yourself get in that habit. And one thing that Dana on my team has done, and I would have never thought of this, but I do it all the time now, but she said, okay, if you go through your friends list and start with the letter A, okay? And so you're going to pick out, and you can do one letter a night. You go to the letter A and pick out like 5 people that you haven't really seen their names or their stuff pop up in your newsfeed in a while, okay? So then you're going to go to their Facebook page and you're going to like some of their recent stuff or comment on it, okay? That way you're interacting with them and your stuff is going to start popping up in their newsfeed. Does that make sense?
Yes, I do that like every day. I pick a different.
So go through the alphabet, and I mean you can do multiple letters a day, but that's just another way to start. I mean to also keep like fresh blood and new people in your work.
It's called recycling your friends list.
Yeah.
Like, and Kristy,
that's a better word for it.
Another good little tip is when your Facebook tells you whose birthday it is, just go write happy birthday real quick because it'll go through every single friend on your list. And if you say happy birthday, again, you've commented on their wall, engaged, and then they'll start popping up. So that's an easy thing to do too.
True.
Okay, so cold messaging,
cold messaging
on Facebook.
And then I would definitely say making that list and always updating it. And when we're talking about making the list, a lot of people say make a list of 100 when you sign up and start with that. To me, big lists like that, like overwhelm me. So I tell my people, if you want to make a list of 100, that's perfect. But if you're one of those people that you need to start the list of 20 and then you tackle that 20 and then you go to the next, that's fine too. So making your list, but always adding to your list and keeping up with, you know, I have my list and I'll say, okay, message, I'll do a little M on, 4:15. And then like kind of what they said out there. One girl on my team page today, she's like, follow up is so important. She's like, I have a spreadsheet and I she takes account for everything, like all their conversation and everything. So the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you cold message, the more that you cold text or go through your friends list in your phone, whatever it may be, the more chances are that you are going to find people and they're going to join your team. And I always tell people, and I'll kind of end with this on this question. It only takes one person, 2 max, but if you can find one person that really gets it like you do, okay, and they really want to work the business and they have a huge network, that it really only takes one person, okay? So you don't have to have a whole team of rock stars and a whole team of like people that have these huge networks. If you can find 1 or 2 people to work it like you do, then that's all you need. Now, obviously, it's great to have more than that, and I have a ton of level 1s, but they are all just, some of them are just now starting to grow their business, like actually grow it. And so that's not to say like ride somebody's coattail, but that's just to say you never know like when the next person you sign up is going to be that one that gets it like you do, and that just kind of kicks your business up to a different notch. Would you agree, Megan and Tara?
Oh, I totally agree. I think there is definitely power in numbers, and when you get that one person that can just help you and motivate you, and we tell everybody on our team, like, team up with somebody, like, even if just like Jenny Kent, she's on Kristy's team, but she's not on my team. But we kind of teamed up together and we bounce stuff off of each other and motivate each other. So I think it's so important to have, you know, someone like that, just kind of bouncing off of that. And there's so many people on our team pages that want to work the business. And we actually have people divided up, Kristy, right now in like silver groups and gold groups. So
we have 95 people in our silver group and over 80 in our gold group, Kristy.
That is
really
huge,
fun.
y'all. No,
So
that's
see.
awesome.
Yeah, we got some eager people, and I'm so glad you're on this call tonight. It's what they all needed to hear. A lot of them are newbies, like I said.
Yes.
Well, good.
Does Kristy, do you want to open up and see if anybody wants to ask any questions? Or I know it's already 10 o'clock, so.
That's fine. I stay up late, so.
Okay.
Me too.
Does anybody have any questions? If you do, you can just raise your little hand on your thing and I'll see it.
Don't be shy, you guys. This is the only chance we got, so ask away. Okay.
I was trying to look this up when you said
I feel like we went over so much stuff.
Do what?
I think we went over so much stuff, people are kind of like, whoa, taking it all in.
I don't want to overwhelm.
Not in that way. I don't mean in a bad way. They're just taking it all in.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll have questions tomorrow for Megan and I and Shonda.
Yeah.
I think this call, though, it was really good because it kind of covered everything. And I have people on my team texting me right now saying how good this call is. So
good.
Nailed it, Kristy. Nailed it.
Oh,
we'll see you next week on a Zoom.
Leah, unmute yourself. You can talk, girlfriend.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Leah.
My question was, what income-producing activity did you find that really helped to boost your business and your team?
So I would say probably following up with prospects and customers. And that would obviously be like initial, like when I say following up, I'm going to say like initial messaging to them, answering like questions, and then following up with the people that were interested. And so I'm trying to think like a good example, but I feel like people are very like impulsive. And so I made it a point to, even though I was at work, like if somebody messaged me, then to try to get back to them as soon as possible. And even if I didn't know the answer, I would sometimes message and say, hey, I'm new. I don't know the answer, but I want to let you know I got your question and I am going to ask my leader. Okay. And then I'll get right back to you. That way people know that like you're going to be there for them. And if they are, have questions, like they're not going to message you and then get an answer like 2 days later. So I feel very like responsive, pretty timely, and then following up and prospecting was probably the biggest IPA thing for me.
It's good.